Well, I was just going to add before you go, I was first hired, actually out of the blue, to scout by Craig's father, and Jack Button. And Jack phoned me and asked me if I would come to Washington and talk with himself and David Poyle. And this would have been back in about 1988, I guess. And so I came in, and at the time, and a lot of the guys in the audience will attest to this, there was maybe 5, 6, 7 full-time pro scouts doing the National League and the American League throughout the league. And in those days, it seemed like the general manager might know a guy in Sault Ste. Marie. If he was doing a trade with Toronto, he'd phone him, he'd say, "Yeah, how would you and your wife like to go to Toronto, spend a weekend at the York Hotel, buy a steak, and tell me what you think of this player?" Well, Jack and David were really ahead of their game. You heard Craig talk about how his dad started Central Scouting. So they brought me in and they asked me if I would like to be part of the pro scouting group, starting with the Washington Capitals. And they were both very, very progressive. Road trip. So I checked into the Springfield Marriott for 40 days. I'm going to tell you, I was there so long, I actually went out and bought a plant that I could water in the yard. True story. Those were the days when guys were on the road. Somebody alluded to the analytics that we have now, and it's great, it's a tool, but the visual part of it for me started back then. And a lot of the guys in the audience will attest to this as well. And I'll tell a story about myself and Alice, who's my wife. We've been married 45 years. Alice is over here. And a lot of the guys spend a lot of time away from their wives and their families. And when we were younger, after this 40-day road trip and a couple of seasons had gone by, Alice got mad at me. I was on the road. And she said, "Archie, I think you love hockey more than you love me." And I looked her right in the eye. I said, "Well, that might be true, Alice, but I love you a lot more than baseball."